Does this look like a productive workbench? Not really. Let's get this tidied up. Hi and welcome back to part 4 of my scratch build PC case. What I'm going to do today is actually show you the building of the frame of the PC case today. What I opted to do instead of brazing is actually use flat aluminium bars, and which is about 2mm thick, and also angled aluminium, which is slightly thinner because of the angle. It keeps its rigidity. So what I'm going to do is show you how I've created the case using those two materials. And what I've also done is decided to use rivets to actually connect all the pieces together, and this just makes it a lot easier for me. Towards the end of the video, what you will see is me having a look at potentially creating the actual cover that will go around the outside, the aluminium that will be bent to go around the outside of the actual frame from the bottom. I'm still yet to order the perspex sheets for the side panels, and that will be done soon. I'm not abandoning brazing completely. What I will be doing is brazing the back panel onto the flat bars on the back, and I'll go into a bit more description of this later on when I show you that when we go through the video. But in the meantime, again, like, subscribe please to the video, to the channel. I would appreciate if you all subscribe to the channel, and like, and also comment anything that you guys might think I should probably be doing for my current process. But yeah, let's get into the video.
So what I've already done is actually cut the piece of a flat bar out to the length of the template, the back template first. I've also bent it around the actual template, which it looks alright. I just bent it a bit more further just to make sure it fits on the template perfectly. And what I've decided that is probably better to do is eventually screw it down. So you'll see some of the screw holes that the drilled holes that I've actually made into the actual aluminium flat bar. This was probably a lot easier just to do it this way rather than any other way, purely because I've got the template and it makes sense for me just to actually use the template as a reference point to make sure that the pieces are aligned properly. What I did was just simply clamp it down on the vise, and then bend it around the actual template. It's fairly straightforward. I mean, it's aluminium, it's only 2mm, it's not really gonna be that difficult to actually bend. But yeah, it worked out pretty well. What you've also done is actually create two pieces on the top that I'm gonna drill and clamp together, drill and rivet together, just so I've got that extra support there when I'm moving things around, just so it doesn't actually kind of come out of shape again. But yeah, so I've done the first one, and then I'm going to move on to the second one. But before I do that, what I decided to do was actually start drilling the into the flat bar, and actually screwing it into the actual the template. This way it would hold its shape for a lot more better, and allow me to actually attach the top pieces to hold the end pieces together. Once I did the first one, then I was going to move on to the second one. But before I did that, what I decided was the best thing to do is actually just cut out a piece of sheet metal just to see how it would look. What I needed to do though is realistically create a template, and then create tabs along the edge that would be bent in, and then eventually maybe brazed. Might not be a good idea to use to use the tabs, but we'll see later on. I might just use it as a base so I can braze and then cut them off later on. I tried bending it down, didn't really work that well in the Vice. But yeah, once I did the front and back panels, what I decided next I needed to do was actually start creating the cross panels, the cross sheet pieces to join them together. As soon as I cut the first two pieces to join them, what I realized and remembered is obviously I wanted the front angle, the front piece panel angled, so clamped it down on the Vice and then just literally bent it down just at the right for the right angle, which is about 15 degrees. Once that was done, used the angled aluminium just to and drilled holes into the front and back frames and the cross pieces, and literally riveted them together. I've got two angled pieces on the bottom, and these basically will form the shape of the support for the PC power supply unit. They're a little wider to accommodate for the rivets, but overall it's the right size for the power supply unit. The next thing I was going to look at is actually start creating the side pieces to support the bottom sheet that would be bent around the bottom part of the PC case. So in order to do this, I used flat bars again and literally again marked out the holes, drilled them onto the main PC case, and then riveted them in. And this is pretty straightforward. It wasn't too difficult, it wasn't too complicated. It was just making sure that they were level, because at the end of the day they need to support the PC. It needs to have a nice clean look. It won't look pretty decent without having some accuracy on it. What I did was use 2 rivets per join, and it's just to give it extra support. And you can see some of the pieces aren't quite flush, and this is what I'm going to correct later on. I wasn't too fussed about it at this point. Once I've got all the pieces joined up, then I can look at filing down some of the pieces just to make sure they're nice and flush. But this seemed to work pretty well. Everything, once I had these support bars in, it was quite sturdy and quite strong. When I had the sheet metal on, I'm sure it's going to be very strong. Once I did that, then I had to move on to the top bit to provide the support. And before I could do that, I needed to cut down these flaps, these riveted supports that I created earlier on. So it's just a case of using the hacksaw again. And the reason I'm using the hacksaw rather than like a jigsaw or anything like that was because this was about 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I really wasn't keen on waking up on disturbing my neighbours. So it's just a case of cutting them off, and then you'll see the next bit is me starting to line up the top pieces again using angled aluminium, and then flat bars across the length, cross section of the back and front panels pieces. This way it would provide enough support for the back and front panel, but also provide the clearance that I needed for fans. I didn't want to be using too much angled aluminium, because I needed the front and the back to stay completely clear of any additional angled aluminium. So again, using the same process, marked it out, drilled holes, riveted them together, and made sure I was using 2 rivets per join. And that just gave it an overall good overall strength. Once I had done this, it was next time to make sure that everything was securely lined up, and then just check if I made sure that there were any other joins that I had missed out. I actually didn't miss out the very first 2 pieces that I actually created, so it was just a case of riveting them again. Once I done that, it was pretty much done, and that was the main panel done. What I'm gonna do next is actually create support for the motherboard. But what I also decided to start looking at was the actual sheet that'll be sitting on the bottom. What I realized is without any additional support in the middle of the actual case to bend the panel, the sheet metal, it would probably not I would probably not get the shape that I was after. So what I needed to do is have some sort of support structure within it. And what I did decide to do is go back to the my templates again and actually join them together using some lengths of wood. Once I could create those lengths of wood, it would allow me to bend the sheet metal around that form and then create the shape I was after. So you can see I've actually attached the template to the front and back, and then started screwing in these pieces.
So I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, like, subscribe, comment if you feel there's anything that I need to be changing or doing. But if you have any suggestions, do drop them down in the comment section below. In the next video, what I will be doing is finishing off the inside of the frame with supports for the motherboard tray, and also start creating the motherboard tray. I will also be trying to start off creating the actual frame, the outer cover of the bottom of the frame, and also the top bit as well. The top bit, if you remember, is detachable, so I'll need to kind of figure out how I'm going to have that be able to detach from the actual PC case. But yeah, if you did enjoy the video, please like, please subscribe to my channel. I do really appreciate every single one of you guys that subscribe to my channel. And stay tuned for the next video coming up very soon. I know it's been a bit of a delay, but due to the holidays, I'm sure you'll understand. What I'm going to try and do is try and keep this more regular. Obviously, I've got other things that are going on, other clients that I've got to meet their projects and meet their expectations. So I've got to try and keep them a priority as well. But again, thanks for watching my video, and if you really do have any more suggestions, please drop them in the comment section below. Speak to you soon. Take care, guys. Later.